Welcome to the Travel People Podcast, where travel isn't just a trip, it's a strategy, a lifestyle, and a passion. I'm your host, JV, and this month we're shining the spotlight on an incredible group right here in the Carolinas. If you've ever wondered why working with a trusted advisor matters more than ever, you're in the right place. All right, mi gente, welcome back to another episode of the Travel People Podcast. It's your boy JV here, and we have the honor of a couple of guests today, some sea peeps, yeah, some cruise planners from the Carolinas. What's up, guys?
You doing?
Hey.
Hey, Juan.
Oh man, thank you so much for joining me. I want you to introduce yourselves and tell us what area you're from in the Carolinas, and tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you before we get into our shenanigans, and it'll give me an opportunity to plug this beer down my throat. Go
So
ahead,
I'm
TJ.
from the middle of North Carolina. The biggest town near me is Pinehurst, so the home of the PGA. I love golf, and it's just part of the culture here. Like I was talking about before, it's just kind of goes with the territory. You're kind of either born with like a saddle or a golf club in one hand. So I was born with a golf club, and I really love it here. And it's really great to just be where the mountains are and the beach, and just North Carolina. It really is just a great location.
So I'm guessing that if you're born with a saddle and a golf club, it's polo. Just saying.
Yeah, there's a few polo clubs around here too, actually.
What about you guys, Dawn and Jay? Tell us a little bit about yourselves and your agency.
All right. So I'm Dawn. That's
Jay.
Jay. We live in Summerville, South Carolina, which is right outside of Charleston. We opened our agency almost 3 years ago. Been building it slow and steady. We just fell in love with travel about 4 years ago ourselves and wanted to share the experience with everybody else.
That's awesome. You know, my son was conceived in Summerville, South Carolina, at an Airbnb at the time. It could be the home that you're very well sitting in, if it was back then being built or, rented out. So, Dawn, Jay, who were you before you became travel advisors? What did life look like before this? Were you empty nesters? Are you empty nesters now? What's going on? What's the skinny in your lives?
All right. So I have really done it all in my life. I've never actually held a career probably more than 4 or 5 years and moved on to something else. But before we bought our franchise, I owned a women's clothing boutique for 9 years. So that was probably my longest running job.
Yeah.
Which was fun. But then
Jay,
the
you're
travel-
shaking your head like, all right, yeah, that was fun. Sure. Women's boutique store. That's exactly what I envisioned retiring, managing, right?
It's 3
I'm
times
just,
travel people.
yeah.
Because it's thing. You get people that come in, you still got bills, you got overhead, everything like that, and you can't force them to buy anything.
No, I don't know what it is to buy anything, and I don't know what bills are. So, I mean, I got a friend named Bill that I forgot to call earlier, but that's regardless. And Tony,
So I
what's up with you, man? Who were you before you became a travel advisor? What's the core to you being? What sparked this interest to become this global citizen and sell travel?
Yeah, so before I found my heart path as a travel advisor. I was a first mate on a 40-foot island hopper in Charleston. I was responsible for just making sure clients had a really good time, being on the boat, and hearing people's travel experiences really kind of sparked my interest. And already being a globally minded person really helped spark that foray into the industry. So like at my core, I really like to be kind of as local as I can when I travel. I really like to go off the beaten path and immerse myself in the culture. And I think that comes from having like a natural curiosity. And maybe also it comes from being in the United States and being a part of, a world where everyone's culture is kind of intermingled. And that really sparked my curiosity of like, where do we all come from? And I think the best way to really experience cultures is to go there and really sink your teeth into it. And I found myself kind of just as a hobby planning trips, like, oh, what would it look like to go to Prague for 4 nights? What would it look like to do a safari in Africa? So I really had kind of like this backlog of itineraries built just as dreams for myself. And I thought, oh, wow, I can actually do this for a living. Yeah, let me do that. Let me get
I
paid
love
for
that.
that.
I love that. That's so great that you thought about what your inner core would process and enjoy and how you can deliver that to a client base. That's so important. I see myself doing that quite a bit often, especially with Japan travel becoming my niche. Always loving to travel to Japan and knowing Japan. Um, it became more than just a passion to sell. It became something that I knew and drew into from a childhood or my son's passion. So yeah, I love your path. I love that energy. But speaking culturally, I mean, you have a tremendous culturally attached um, resume per se as a human being here in the US, right? Just like I'm come from Taino roots. So shout out to Taino.golf, by the way. Shout out to Taino.golf. um, but my Taino roots, so your roots run deep here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Like, I think being a Native American too, and being a part of the Lumbee tribe, kind of, I can't speak for everyone, but me personally, seeking kind of an identity crisis solution and like seeking other cultures because a lot of cultures can point to something and say that's mine, right? Like that flag is mine. But being a Lumbee Native American, there's very few things that I can point to and say, ah, that's ours. And I think maybe some of my international curiosity stems from a little bit of envy, even, and like wanting that world, that family, and not being such a part of a diaspora, but being part of a unity in a community. So not to get political, but
I love that. No, it's purpose, and which draws me to Dawn and Jay. When did you realize travel wasn't just passion, it was purpose? And I know Jay, you and I have had an opportunity to talk quite a bit, and you're quite a purposeful person. You have real intention behind things, and prove me wrong. I mean, make me feel silly here,
Yeah,
but that's
I guess
that's what I gather.
4 years ago when we started this, it changed. I've been in construction my entire life, either working in the field or drawing, and I still draw for structural buildings. I never even see some of the things I draw. I never connect with the people I see that goes out the door. It must make somebody happy, but it's not like the travel where you get a response back from people or you can see people that are doing it. It
Yeah.
changed my whole thinking on things and the way I looked at things.
So were you guys worldly before? Did you guys travel and outside of the US? Were you guys like all over the place?
No, I don't think either one of us really took family vacations growing up or anything like that.
And you rodeoed for 8 years.
I rodeoed, yes.
We've touched foot in every state on this side of the Mississippi, but some of them have been for hours.
Wow.
Uh,
That's
um,
interesting. You were say, TJ? I just
No,
find
you're
that
good.
really interesting because so many of us in this industry are that way. We were either one extreme or the other. Like I was already really worldly. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be a nomad and a non-responsible individual that spent a lot of money doing stupid stuff. And decided, hey, I can go there. I'm going to go there, and all means necessary. You're going to have to sleep in somebody's car. But I love the passion and the purpose that we each have, and I think that's something that Cruise Planners does to us, right? They give us not only the tools, they give us the roadmap, they give us all the training, the materials. I mean, I was on a call today learning just about how to dial into a specific criteria that a client might need, and Dawn, you were on the call, Jay, you were on the call, so you guys know and understand how important these tools are and how they work for us. So, anybody jump in. How has that ability to be a cruise planner and utilize the tools that they have given us as franchise owners? How has that elevated the opportunity to be the best selling agent that you can be?
I came from a software using background for all my drawing stuff and all that, and it is nice to have all the tools and different fancy things that some I've never even seen or used yet. We learn about them, we forget about them. Cruise Planner is also more than just the tools, brings you a different family of 4,000 other people you never even knew, then didn't want to know sometimes, that you can reach out to and talk to and help with.
You're
It,
shaking your head, TJ. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts?
I was gonna say, I was just building on that. Like when you work with us, you don't just get our support, you get a whole community of support. Our Facebook pages I go to all the time to just get information and tips, and my franchise owner, all of my colleagues. I mean, it's just safe feeling. It feels safe being a cruise planner because I know that if I have a question or concern or need to troubleshoot something, help is so close by. And that has really given me the security to feel safe.
yeah, they
Yeah,
start jumping in sometimes.
You know somebody's always got your back. There's 7,000 between home office and all of us franchise owners. There's literally always somebody who has your back if you don't know the answer.
Let's talk a little bit about VV. Let's talk about how that's changed the industry and how it's changed us as advisors because I've gone on the VV dive, right? I am all in everyday VV. I sell that product first and foremost above all others. When it comes to resorts, for example, I'll sell sandals first. When it comes to land products now, FIT is rail bookers. So shout out to all three products. But let's talk about how VV has enhanced your sales or your perspective on selling. And I know, Tony, you had an opportunity to do a event with Tracy, but tell me a little bit about how that's helped you book your clients.
Well, first of all, just Virgin Voyages does cruising in a completely different way. They've kind of shaken up the industry, I feel like, and everyone's kind of looking at Virgin like, oh, and then looking kind of internally at their structure and what they include or don't include, and the kind of demographic that Virgin kind of aims towards. And it's just, I booked on the day before Valentine's Day. I booked a birthday cruise for Virgin for a young couple, and I feel like it's kind of opened me up to the younger crowd, maybe like the millennials, more my age folks, because they have a certain viewpoint, I think, of what cruises is like. Oh, the love boat, maybe, and it's just cruising just isn't what it used to be anymore. It's different, and it is kind of it. Cruising is what you make it. But every cruise line has a personality, and I find that Virgin has a very bold personality. And no, it is not for everyone, but they do have something for everyone. And I love the vibe that it delivers. And I pitch that to everyone who wants an adults only vacation or something swanky and accessible. And the crew, you can't beat the crew. I mean, the people make the difference for me when it comes to Virgin.
We
But
had all
Don,
ages. I mean, we took 3 couples with us last year,
Last
2 early 20s, and I've got 3 sisters all in their 70s that are going on their third cruise with Virgin.
so that's really good that you said that, Jay, because I had a client today that was super apprehensive, and my wife and I tend to meet cruisers on VV who somehow become our clients. I mean, we don't poach clients, we don't do any of that stuff. All kidding aside, we don't. We just go about our way, and they just follow us. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "What do you do for a living that you know so much?" And I'm like, "Well, you have to really ask me." And then I tell them, and then they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I still point them to Sailor Services, and they're like, that guy over there, he's my travel agent." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." But
Yeah.
70 plus, there is no real demographic in my playbook, right? I will sell it to anyone who has cash money to pay, first and foremost, right? Cash is king, right? If you have that cash moolah, I will go ahead and take it and book you on Virgin, regardless of whether you want to go or not. So, unbeknownst to them, they're thinking they booked MSC, but they're going on Virgin. But no, it really has been the core to how I have changed my sales strategies. Indeed, because so many of the cruise lines are challenged by them right now, but some are changing, as we had seen in these new press releases, where some cruise lines are thinking about going with sailings for just adults, right? Our ideal clients, how do you think they see us differently serving them? We've spoken about the tools, we've spoken about the products that we're accustomed to and how they've changed us. But I'll start with you guys, Dawn and Jay. How has that changed how you serve them differently? How's that approach when someone comes to you and says, "Hey, it's just us adults traveling"? What does that do to you? How does that pique your interest?
you want to
Yeah, it's gonna be me.
It's gonna
If we're, everybody's got a cruise line. I agree with that. If we're sending them to Virgin or wherever, just having all the accessibility of putting packages together, getting promos from them, the support from our BDMs, it just makes it pretty easy to sell.
Right.
It's customer service driven business now. I mean, as some of the BDMs have said, anybody can book a cruise. It's a
So
service
what
we provide
so
that
what types
brings.
of trips, but Jay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what types of trips then do you love planning because of this? Because why has that changed? How has that changed the demographic or how you choose to point someone to a product? How has Virgin specifically pivoted the industry and how you plan of our ownership at corporate? Those are the products that really deliver for so many years and had steered the industry through COVID. And those are products that have friends who work in. But really, there is a position for every industry that challenges us. And I think Virgin has done that. And really, what I'm trying to get at the core is to apply this so that a client can understand why we might send them a certain itinerary that they weren't expectant of. And not necessarily a Virgin itinerary, but something that is Virgin-ish or a la that product. So again, how has that been able to um, recreate how you deliver service, that centricity to your clients?
It gives us an out that they don't, especially if they're not traveling with kids, gives us an itinerary that feels sophisticated or a ship that feels sophisticated, but you don't have to be. You can just be you. You don't have to worry about we've got a group that we were supposed to be on for Valentine's Day that we started a Facebook group. Something changed in our path and we didn't get to go. But in maintaining the group and asking people just how are they enjoying things, and the number one thing is there's no announcements, there's no pressure, there's no little rugrats running around. They get to see the crew for who they are and a lot of other people for who they are, because it is inclusive to all and welcoming. So some of them are getting a new perspective on different people too. We've had some arguments from what I've got in the group that some people have complained about the different LBQ, the alphabet I'm going to mess up. Speaking of,
it's okay. I mess it up too.
And one of them stood up and told other people they got kicked out of the casino, everything. I've had a few people in there said they did not do their research and know what they're getting going into a Virgin Cruise.
They probably did not use a TA.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the most important thing that we're getting at is why we're so important to use, but not just any travel advisor, because I've had travel advisors on my show before and they're good. And you know, some are great, but really it really isn't about how good or great it is. It's how well researched and how well versed you are with that product that you're selling. But I've used, for instance, Virgin not just as a selling tool for myself, but an opportunity to reshape my business. And it's allowed me to enter the global citizenship world as someone who is not just a connoisseur of this cruise line, but a connoisseur of just about everything that I sell. So it makes me smarter. So it's really pivoted me, and it's allowed my clients to really feel comfortable when I explain to them whether it's a problem that we're trying to solve or a solution to a trip to get an excursion, whatever it might be. So with that being said, what types of trips do you love do you love planning the most, TJ? What do you like? And don't tell me Disney because I already know.
Yeah, yeah, of course I love working with families, planning Disney trips, but
Damn it,
yeah,
I
couple
knew it.
sailing on yeah, I know. But couples sailing on Virgin voyages, honeymooners celebrating you know, that big moment in their life. I love doing that. I've booked a few honeymoon trips lately, but yeah, my role really is becoming more of the travel guru, and like y'all said, anyone can book a trip, right? But what I strive to provide is that personal touch, that detail, the who, what, when, where, and why, and using my connections, my friendships around the world also, really getting an insider's perspective into what it's like. Like, of course, we all want to see those big ticket items. We all want to see the Eiffel Tower. We all want to see the Colosseum, right? But it's those in between moments that I think really make the memories that you remember for forever. And those are the little tidbits, those little moments that I want to try to capture for people and try to build and design for those folks, whether it's unexpected or puts them in the right time at the right place to try to capture something spontaneous that's not necessarily a part of their itinerary.
I love that. So speaking of stories and speaking of being spontaneous and so forth. So for me, spontaneous is going on a familiarization on one of the XL series and watching that magic carpet drop down while your curtains are open and you just got out of the shower. You know, those that's key because now I can tell my clients, yeah, you may not want to get out of the shower fully unclothed. So you may
Yeah.
want to just bathe with your bathing suit. I mean, it's an option, or just close the curtains. Damn it.
And
So
certain cruise cabins do face inside the ship. So you got to be careful when you book a balcony. Ask your travel agent, what is the actual view from the balcony? It's very important.
Yes. I mean,
Not
long
every
lens
balcony is an
cameras.
ocean view balcony.
I've had people send me pictures from other sides of other ships while we're docked, and they're like, "Hey, I could see you." I'm like, "Damn it! You should have waited. That's my bad side." So they were touching my backside, not my bad side. But tell us a little story, Dawn and Jay. Tell us a little story about a travel experience that you've had or a client has had that has really strengthened your relationship with them and changed you, or at least changed them for sure. I got a ton of them. Trust me. You don't want to know them. Not on air.
Logan, a female boss, basically.
Yeah.
She owns her own salon. I think she's opened a second one. She is driven. Her now fiance is.
Super quiet.
We've got 3 words out of them, and we've taken them on a cruise already once. I get a text message. They were
Wait,
on
you
a
got
10
three words? Three words.
and 2 of them are
You went on a cruise and someone spoke to you 3 words. That's it. 3 words.
Yeah.
Like that's less than a Wheel of Fortune puzzle.
I know.
3
He is
3
very
words.
A
I'll
man of
take that.
many.
They were on Brilliant beginning of January down to Aruba, Bonaire. I get a text message, 10 o'clock the night before they're getting into Ochos Rios on Jamaica, that he proposed to her after leaving Bonaire. They didn't get any pictures. What can I set up for wedding engagement photos when they get to Jamaica? Meanwhile, like I said, 10 o'clock at night, sort of as you said before, making connections with people. We've got some providers we've dealt with on the island in Jamaica, getting a hold of them on WhatsApp at 10, 11 o'clock at night. By the morning, she was picking them up at the pier, complete wedding system, already a photographer, all the decorations on the beach, took them out, horseback riding and everything else for the day, spoiled them for the entire day. All I got was I got videos back, pictures back. They're completely happy. Left there going, okay, now we got to start working on the honeymoons. I mean, on the bachelor parties and then the honeymoon.
Wow.
So
So you guys I mean, you know what? That's a that 3 you had me at 3 words, Joe.
I'd like to
That's
see
what I'm
Chat
gonna
GPT pull that off, though, honestly.
it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. Going, seriously, she wants
You
pictures
port
tomorrow.
at 9 o'clock in the morning. How would you like me to have that done?
I wanna touch on what TJ's just said, and I wanna clarify to the audience. So I know Toni Chavis. So she has a nickname that I keep on saying, and she probably is gonna kill me for it. It's TJ. Um, so I know her on a personal basis. So I keep on saying TJ. But anyway, um, let's talk about chat. Let's talk about chat, and let's talk about Copilot. Let's talk about all of them because they suck. I've challenged them. I've entered the correct prompts. I've entered everything that people have challenged me on, and they get the wrong information. How can we convince our clients that they truly are getting bamboozled right now by this AI that doesn't have the information they're seeking? Because unbeknownst to them, travel is not a priority right now in the overall scheme of things. So, TJ, I'll let you talk on it since you mentioned it.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about the human element when it comes to travel. There's a lot of tools out there at our fingertips, but one of the most reliable tools will always be the human element. The robot behind the computer doesn't know the nuances about how you like to travel and who you are as a person and as a traveler and your likes and your dislikes. And I take into consideration all of the little things that people don't necessarily mention, but they convey in their interactions. For example, I was out with the couple that booked Virgin with me last week, and I noticed how they ordered their drinks, and that told me a lot. That told me a lot about who they were as a person, who they are as a traveler, who they would be on board. And it's just those nuances, those human elements that we pick up on because we have, blood, flesh, and sight, and we actually interact with humans on a face-to-face level. And um, it's just a robot can't pick up on those things. So I do feel really strongly that AI is a really powerful tool, and with great power comes great responsibility, and it can lead people down a dangerous path. Honestly, quite frankly, ChatGPT and the rest of it can be very misleading and misguiding. So just I would I would tell people, use it with caution, man. But I'm here. I'm here for you. Use me. Please use me.
So did you guys, all right, so I know you guys watched the Super Bowl because when Benito came on stage, that is exactly how I react when I jump on any Virgin voyage. Like I almost felt like they were reliving my experience on Virgin Voyage. Like I feel like everyone's playing for me, I'm singing for them. Like that was me. That was me. Especially out of San Juan. I'm just saying. That was me. But all kidding aside, but this commercial went live for chat at the Super Bowl officially. It was unofficially running ads on Hulu, Prime, and a couple other markets that were streaming. And my wife and I analyzed, and found so many flaws in how the commercial was directed. First of all, it was AI generated, guys. AI generated commercial for an AI generated prompt. And it had so many mistakes, and it was trying to give an itinerary to a young couple that was driving through the middle of the desert somewhere in Moab. I'm assuming they were trying to emphasize, but really, no, that was the Arizona backdrop based on the mountain and the ranges. So it had everything wrong already. Me being a topography nerd, I picked up on it. and and then the fact that it was giving them relational information that you can find on Google. Like you can Google, like I tell my clients, hey, Google the best restaurants. You might find the one that I recommended. If you're going to Rome, right? That's okay to do. That's not, taken away from your strategy and your skills. But Dawn and Jay, wouldn't you agree that the keyword generative AI, this whole new nuance of influx that's invading industries and soon ours, right? We're at the trenches right now. We better start digging because we're gonna have body bags. There's 43,000 of us in the U.S. loud and proud. We book more. All right, I'm gonna say this: we book more than when you go on Google, Expedia, Hotel.com, and all the others, and even Direct. We book more. Yes, billions more. Damn it! How do you design trips then that create that meaningful connection, TJ? How is that? How do you do that then? How do you bring that all together, tying it all in?
For me, designing trips really starts with listening to folks. I ask a lot of questions, and I pay very close attention. I think being an empath, like I was mentioning before, noticing how my clients ordered drinks and just how they move through the world. There's like robots just can't pick up on that, and I feel like from there it turns into a lot of research and a lot of pulling on my connections and my friend strings, and just calling out on my helplines and my lifelines. And so I build those pieces around that, and the feedback I get from my friends and my connections that do walk that life, and not just our guides, and not just trying to sell the product, but are living and breathing in those locations. And this is what I actually like to do on my Saturdays, and maybe your clients would like that too. Um, and just for full transparency, yeah, I think that AI can be a really useful tool, but I don't think it should be a crutch that we lean on and become independent on. And not it's great if you don't become complacent with it, right? Like you said, it's great for like rearranging paragraphs if you're trying to write an email. I love to write, so I will write my own, description and into chat and be like, hey, just polish this up for me, just make sure that it's readable. And being an artist, from being someone who is a creative, and having chat make images for me, I put a lot of my own emphasis into the prompts. I have a very specific image I like to convey, and I don't want my stuff to be generic and look like cookie cutter stuff. And yeah, I could do this myself. I can draw these images myself using Adobe Photoshop or watercolor in Canvas. I just don't have the time.
I
So
love
so
that.
my images really do end up being very unique to me, I think. So like I said before, it's a very powerful tool, and it comes with a lot of responsibility. And I feel like if we don't use it responsibly, we could be it could be like iRobot up in this bitch. I don't want that.
So, coming full circle, what do you guys hope clients feel after traveling under your guidance? And like I told you guys before, this is really where you let people know who you really are, and tell a story. How do you hope clients really feel after traveling under that guidance? And TJ, I'll let you go since you just released that energy. So what's that feeling? What does that look like? Like, I know I'll give you an example. So for me, when my clients come back from an immersive experience, having traveled from east to west in Japan, and they had never intended on taking a Japanese vacation ever in their life, but their teenage daughter or son became enthralled with the idea of manga and anime, and then it became into a social um, way of life. This cultural change within them, and here they are trying to be good stewards of their family and embracing this child's likes and wants. And they go on this vacation, unbeknownst to them, they absolutely fall in love with the country. And then what happens next is a repeat occurrence where they say, well, look, we didn't see enough and we want to do more. So that to me is the ultimate feeling where a traveler tells me, Juan, this was amazing, but I want more. But how is that shaping? How do you want your clients to feel after traveling under your guidance?
Yeah, like you said, I want my travelers to come back excited for more and ready to plan the next trip. And I think that's always the goal. I want them to feel like the world is more accessible than they thought before. I feel like a lot of people are surprised when I talk to them how affordable a vacation can be with travel rewards and points programs and scheduling in advance and paying it off with flex pay and stuff like that. I feel like I want them to be ready and feel prepared and financially not not burdened financially by a vacation. I don't think it should put anyone into debt to want to go experience life. And I feel like that's what I want to deliver to my people. And yeah, that's what I love, to be able to make those dreams really happen for people.
I love that. I love that. What about you guys? What's slurring in that Jay, I will be transparent. I will let you know. Unbeknownst to you, I see you as someone so determined, and you have this determined spirit. Like like you're a fox in the wood, and you're
Oh,
looking for. I mean, you are and I'm just curious how clients come back and feel after traveling under that guidance of a fox that's so determined. What do you say about that?
so far, we knock on wood, we haven't had problems that we couldn't overcome, and they were none right now by our doing. But even if a problem comes up, getting it resolved, why they're there, or getting them back to on track and then resolving it later has brought them back to us. I don't like problems. I never have in my life. I like things to run smooth. The more clients we have out at the same time, the more stressed
The more
I am.
stressed you are.
Yeah.
There's not, to be honest, I won't sleep having. I had an 80-something-year-old mom and her daughter had to go to Ireland. Mom's health was going down. I think 3 o'clock in the morning called and said, Mom took a tumble off a curb. How can you get us
Wow.
back? Because I want to make sure I get her medically taken care of. She goes, I don't care about the rest of the trip. They only got about half of it in. Of course, we got on with Avanti that we had booked it through, rearranged flights for the next day. She came back home. I got a spectacular review that she was amazed at 3 o'clock in the morning I answered the phone.
Wow.
She's going to do something else that I don't want to be stuck in another country with a problem by myself. Having support means a lot to me. I mean, I hate to say it. I'm 55. I'm not in that 20-something-year-old group.
Hey, I'm 50, so calm down there. Easy there, Tiger. I'm heading up there.
United States airports, and if we get transferred somewhere that we don't drive to, I like the dude there with the sign for me, especially
Yeah.
going to a foreign country. We've had them take our 70-year-olds. They went to Athens. They took them into the hotel, made sure they got checked in before they even left for the transport. It's just that personal touch. Getting the response back goes that the driver was awesome. They took us exactly where we needed to, or the tour you lined up worked perfectly. We had a blast doing a pizza making class or something. It helps feed that. I don't want to say ego, but it helps feed the creativity to continue doing what I'm doing, because
I love that.
I have experienced a lot of this. So I'm on the wing and a prayer some days.
Wing and a prayer, but you're also learning through every step that we do and book with our clients.
I mean, we've had one royal pain in the butt, I'll say it nicely, that eventually had to fire. I had planned out probably a dozen good trips all through Europe, between Rail Bookers, Avanti, York Express,
Chow Whitley.
AMA Waterways. I mean, we've had things planned out. The good thing was I learned a whole bunch doing them. Then I finally got fed up going, I can't deal with you anymore. We had a whole.
And that's interesting that you should say that. You guys experienced something that a lot of clients don't understand is the fact that we work for free. Right. I'm going to say that again. We work for free. We do not make money unless you book travel. And ideally,
Why still?
right, the commission is already typically embedded in every package they're already going to pay online. So why not have an advocate who's going to be there for you for the same price, right?
Yep.
So
It's
I
getting
get it.
that sometimes.
So, sometimes we do have to make that tough decision and fire a client. I've done that plenty of times, and it's broke my heart because I put in so much effort. But at the end of the day, we learn how to grow as entrepreneurs, and we learn how to communicate better. And I'm still learning how to communicate. My producer made a great monologue on his, and I'm gonna shout out No Shortcuts the community and No Shortcuts the podcast by Travis and Midas. It's a great community, guys. TJ, you're familiar with it. You guys should jump on every Tuesday at noon. It is a great way for entrepreneurs of all industries to really just gel and learn from each other because we're all bootstrapping. Let's stop kidding ourselves. We are all paying for the next adventure. We make commissions based on whatever the supplier demands to pay us, some 11%, some 12, some 20, like I learned today, some 100. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to tell you about that story, but wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Rail Bookers and Navitrip. Um, but it's important for us to recognize those clients that are going to be a detriment to us and are going to suffocate our time and inability to help someone else that really demands our need. And we at Cruise Planners, I think we pride ourselves in being centric. So centricity is key and focus for everything we do. Um, but speaking of key and focus, right? I gotta tell you, I've had quite a doozy, and I know you have had too, TJ. So you got a story there. Come on. I know you got 6 or 7 stories, man. You have had people come at you, you know, full blown plan a trip and then ghost you. I mean, what's that feeling like? How do you move on? What do you tell yourself?
How do you move on? Wow, how do you move on from that? It really is kind of like working up a crush, like you're talking to this guy, you're talking to this girl, and you think something's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden, like you don't hear back from them, and it's kind of heartbreaking, and you don't get closure from it, and yeah, I've been ghosted before, but for me, there's nothing ever truly lost in a client walking away, because there's always something that I learned about a supplier or a trip or an itinerary or a destination. So no matter what, at the end of the day, I feel like I still gleaned something. I still made a score because it lives up here, even if I didn't cash out at the end of the day.
Nice. I love that. All right. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot. All right. You ready? I didn't plan this. So I did it kind of, but I'm being, a jackass, but I don't care. So, what's your tagline? What is your elevator pitch? Like I tell people, hey, they're like, hey, what do you do for a living? Like if I'm in a crowded room, but no, I sell selfies. And people are like, really? You have a selfie booth? No, you can book travel. So that's my tagline. And they're like so confused about that because how many selfies do you take on a trip? Me? Man, my iPhone will tell me you no longer have storage. So, all right, number of selfies that you take on a trip, guys, and what's your elevator pitch? Talk to me like I'm your client. Like sell me a trip. Anything. I don't care if I'm going to Utah to see the arches. Just sell me it.
I'm going to admit this. I've never been in sales where I've had to sell for a living per se. Like I said, I've been in the construction industry my whole life. There is no political correctness in me. I've had to bite my tongue not to tell clients where to stick it. I just start a conversation with them. I want to know what they want and what they want to get out of it. I'm
So
not
you don't
trying to.
have you don't have a tagline per se where you give them an elevator pitch and
I still haven't
something
figured out
similar.
this thing. I mean, I hate to say it, in 2014, when we went to work for ourselves for
Yeah.
different companies, our business plan was we need to eat.
Okay.
So we're out.
So that should be your tagline. I sell meals on wheels to myself. And people will be like, "What do you mean, Jay? Do you need me to take you to Costco so that we can
Yeah.
fill your pantry?" And you say, "Well, you can take
Travel
me to
so I can
Costco.
eat.
Just don't buy a trip from them. Just buy the toilet paper." So because that's
I've
what
never
you'll get is sh blank
pushed
t when you
on
call
sales.
their customer service. Um, but yeah, no, and I'm not trying to make fun of what you're saying, Jay, but I think it's important for our clients to really understand how our mantra, that cruisitude that we deliver to our clients. And I use that every day. I love that word. I love that word. Um, I might get it tattooed, maybe not. I don't know. You know what? Meet me on the next convention. You might see something cruisitude
I was thinking
on
the
there,
anchor that travel on my hand.
right? Like it and like the knuckles, right?
Yeah,
Cruisitude, right? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. To be continued. I don't know. But no, it's really important for us to deliver an elevator speech because our clients don't care about travel. I said this earlier today in our Zoom call. They can get travel from wherever they want, but it's how unique we sell ourselves. Our unique selling proposition is us, nothing else. That's it. It's the same bow tie. It's the same cup of tea. It's the same everything that anybody else is selling. At the end of the day, what else are they getting besides me in a red Speedo? I'm just saying, Jay, you have the green one. So for Christmas, we got to put a Christmas card together.
I'm willing.
For sure. We need to see that.
Yeah, yeah, well, some of us more than others, but
Cruise
that's to
planner's
be continued.
calendar. Yes, please.
We'll put together what are those? You know how they have the fireman calendars? We'll put
Yeah.
together a cruise planner's calendar, right? I could be November. I am totally a Scorpio.
It'll
I'm
just be me in
sensitive
my
and
bathrobe,
aggressive.
hair in curlers at my computer. That will be my month.
That
That will be me.
Slow people.
So, Dawn, do you have a selling proposition? Do you have something unique that you kind of deliver?
Not normally, I normally will sometimes, especially if I don't know the person and they're asking about travel. Sometimes I'll throw the "Well, do you buy a house without a realtor?" kind of thing at them, um, because I was in real estate too. So it's I learned back then you hire somebody who is specialized in something. So if you want to buy a house without a realtor, why would you buy travel without a travel advisor?
Right. I agree. I agree. I like that. I like that again. I love that. And
I'm
TJ,
going to use that.
wrap us up with what you think should be. What's your elevator pitch? What do you say?
Absolutely. You know me. I'm a total ham. I love a slogan. I love a logo. I've always told people go until they tell you to stop.
I
Go
love
until
that.
they tell you to stop. And as far as what I deliver to the table, having a travel agent is like having boots on the ground. It's like having a soldier in your pocket. We are there to advocate for you. We're the ones that are on hold while you're on vacation. We do the heavy lifting. So all you have to lift is your suitcase. We get everything done. So all you have to get is excited.
I love
That is
that.
true.
I love that.
Tell them they could bribe me with some rum and I'll come back for them.
Yeah.
So as we come to an end, and I apologize that we ran over, and that's okay. Because we're having a good conversation, a conversation that a lot of people need to understand about travel advisors in this industry, and what we do and why we do it. But I want to give a quick shout out to Confined Space Coffee. Matt lives in Indiana, who is our sponsor for the show. Matt has been a friend and also now a connoisseur of coffee for over a year now. So he's a dear friend, and I appreciate his support and everything that he's doing for the show. A shout out to locally Illumination Wines, who are doing some great work for suicide prevention. it being Suicide Prevention Month, I want to make sure that we shout out those people who understand how important mental health programs are and how limited they are in this country. Um, if you had one thing to tell um, to a client, and then some inspiration to other cruise planners, and then how to reach you specifically, your email and your phone number. Who wants to go first? And just dive right in.
One thing to tell clients is that most importantly, enjoy the trip no matter what's going on. You can make the best out of a worse situation, or you can sit there and whine and complain and bitch the whole time. You're there, enjoy it. Cruise planner people, it's just one big family. I mean, I felt bad aggravating some of our millionaire level people for questions, and they've said the same thing, that you'll be telling other people down the road, because we were in that same boat. I mean, literally, she's seen it now too. I've driven back and forth from Florida way too many times in the past 3 years. I've spent half the trip coming up from Miami to Florida on the phone with different level people, calling somebody. Hey, I got clients that are looking to go here. I need some help. Just, we don't know everything, so there's somebody else out there that can help you.
I like that. And how can they reach your agency, Dawn? How can they, get the goods and specifically tell them, what your niche is?
All right. So we specialize in cruises, all inclusives. Um, in Caribbean, we do Alaska and Europe.
A little bit of Europe.
A little bit of Europe. We are learning Europe, but we are getting to do Europe now. You can reach us at 843-934-7725. Or you can email Jay. It's jay.drucker, DRUCKER, at cruiseplanners.com.
I love it. I can't give them your private email address that we have from OnlyFans, right?
Yeah. Tracy's got it, trust me.
TJ, what about you? What can you tell our audience, and some inspiration for some cruise planners, and how can they reach you?
Yeah, some inspiration for my fellow cruise planners. Send the email. Don't worry about bothering people. I think I have left a lot of money on the table because I did not send the email. Send the email. Okay. Be in their inbox. Bother them. Okay. That's my tip to all my fellow cruise planners. And my personal niche is, of course, Disney, and cruises. I love Virgin, of course. I love Princess. Princess treated me very, very well. So I love Princess Cruise Lines, and Disney Cruise Line, of course. Golf. I'd love to help out my fellow golfers. So getting them their tee times, definitely want to help out with that more and more. And then Europe, all inclusives for sure, for sure. Adults only. I want to help them out. Get away from the kids a little bit, let their hair down. I want to help them out with that. And yeah, to reach me, I have my business card. I'll see if I can. But
we'll make
it's
sure to add it
910. Yeah, it's 910-986-9533, and a season 2 travel, the number 2 travel.
I love it. I love it. She came and was like, "No, I got a business card. I'm gonna flop this out."
Ready.
Travis, sorry, they did your job for us. No graphics on that one. Um, listen, guys, I really appreciate the work and the help that you've provided, not just to me and my show and my audience, but to yourselves, by being vulnerable and coming on to this show. I might be a little bit eccentric, just a little bit, and maybe not. Some of you know me better than others, just a poquito. But um, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate our audience. Please like, subscribe, watch anywhere. Adventure begins now. Yes, that's right. Adventure begins now. So, um, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys for coming on and joining me and helping our audience understand why it's so important to book a travel advisor with a travel advisor. And don't be afraid to be yourselves, people. Life is short. Travel, do things you love, and meet others, hug people, shake hands, talk, drink some rum and whiskey, whatever it is that you do in life, do it well, do it with purpose and love. All right. And that's a wrap, guys. Peace.
Thank you very much.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
For more information about the advisors featured in this episode or to connect with a cruise planner travel agent near you, please visit www.cruiseplanners.com to reach your local Cruise Planners franchise. Please note, Cruise Planners is a registered trademark of Cruise Planners Franchising LLC. Each Cruise Planners travel advisor is an independently owned and operated franchise. The views and opinions and experiences shared on this particular podcast are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the official policies, positions, or endorsements of Cruise Planners Franchising LLC, its affiliates, partners, or suppliers. All travel arrangements discussed are subject to availability, supplier terms and conditions, applicable laws, and change without notice. This podcast is intended for informational, promotional purposes only and does not constitute legal, financial, or travel advice. Always consult a licensed travel professional directly regarding your specific travel needs. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and supporting travel professionals who turn plans into experiences. Until next time, keep traveling, mi gente. Smart, travel inspired, and remember, I'm JV, and we are the travel people.